What's good, squad? It's the big homie SB23 back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today's conversation is going to be how to remain attractive to your spouse. Like and subscribe if you would like to. I appreciate you for hanging out with me, soaking up the knowledge and spreading it to whoever might need it. I'm hoping you're having a good day and I'm sending love out your way. So, how to remain attractive to your spouse, and this is for my fellas out there when speaking on remaining attractive to your lady. And I'm speaking from a man's perspective because I am a man, so I would understand these things. I've been in a lot of different relationships, and I can tell you the ins and outs of how it goes, from friends with benefits to situationships to boyfriend and girlfriend to marriage. I've done it all, so I've seen it all, you know what I'm saying? So, and what I figured out through all of those things is the more she knows about you, the harder it is to remain attractive in her eyes. Also, this is subjective, depending on the woman that you're dealing with, but for the most part, the majority of women are wired the same. So when she starts to figure out your patterns or what you got going on within your life, and once you start to divulge too much information to her, that's when the attraction starts to slip, because women like fantasy and mystery. So they like the mysterious man who they have to figure out, who they have to unravel. But once they start to figure you out and unravel you, and you start to speak too much on the things that you do and give away too much information, that's when the fantasy starts to fade and she starts to lose that attraction that she initially had for you, especially if you end up being more into her than she's into you. You're going to automatically start to lose points in the attraction category to her, because you're no longer that mystery that she was yearning for or looking for. You got to think about it. Women like to read like novels, and they love that type of like drama and suspense and something that they have to figure out. So once they figure you out, it's pretty much a wrap for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's hard to be in a committed relationship with them and maintain the attraction, because when you're in a committed relationship, you spend more time together. So the more time you spend together, the more time she has to figure you out. And the more time that you spend with her, the more you want to be there for her or be there with her. But what ends up happening is she starts to figure you out. And once she figures out your patterns and you become predictable, that's when you lose interest. When she isn't quite sure what you got going on, or the things that you're doing in your everyday life, like she might have somewhat of an idea, but she doesn't really know, can't really tell. That's when you remain mysterious and you hold that attraction, because now you're a challenge. Women are competitive by nature, so they like a challenge. As soon as you become not a challenge to her, she's going to lose that interest and move on and try to find something that is going to challenge her. And you got to also understand that women get bored very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So they constantly need something that's going to pique their interest, because you got to think about it. They have so many different options who they could talk to or deal with, that in order for her to choose you, you have to be different from her pool of options that she has. So that's why it's good to remain mysterious and unpredictable. That doesn't mean that you are hiding anything from her, but it's just the fact that she's not quite sure about every little thing about you. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's why it's hard for when you're in a committed relationship it's hard to keep that mystery because she starts to recognize your patterns and your tics, and you start to become predictable. So now she's bored, you know what I'm saying? And women don't like to be bored. They like to be, you got to remember, they're tied into their emotions. So they like to feel different things on a consistent basis. They don't like consistency in the same way that men do. You know what I'm saying? As a man, we are very consistent. Like if we like one thing, we can like that thing and stick with that thing, and that not be an issue. But for women, they like variety. They like things to switch up because their emotions are constantly switching up. So when you understand that, it makes sense when you start to think about it, why when you're in a relationship, things start off like super intimate and really like intense, but as the relationship goes on, it starts to dwindle and fade because she starts to become bored because you're becoming predictable, which to her means you're not the same person who you were when she met you, even though you technically are, but in her eyes you're not. And also, you are doing things to try to make her happy or to make her feel good because that's what you think that you're supposed to be doing. But in all reality, you're supposed to be remaining within your frame and standing on who you were from the beginning. So that's why it's really not good to even move in together with your lady, because once you move in, then again, she can see your everyday workings, and now you're not a mystery. Now you are very obviously predictable, and once you become that, that's when it starts to fade. So getting into relationships and committing to a woman, and especially moving in with her, will cause a fade in that attraction and that intensity of the attraction, as opposed to maybe if you date and remain in your own space and operate from that aspect of understanding a woman's psyche and where they're coming from, then you'll have a better and maybe longer stint with her, instead of it moving the way that it normally moves in a lot of relationships when you look across the board. You know what I mean? So it's just my words of wisdom for today. Understand that nobody is bad or good either. Like there's bad women, good women, bad man, bad man, good man. Everybody is just humans, and we're all wired by nature to be a certain way. And when you can understand that for what it is and accept it, and not put the evil eye on somebody or demean somebody for being or operating in their natural way, then you can start to move in a way that's going to be beneficial for both parties. So I know for me, I was in relationships from middle school all the way up until a little while ago. And what I realized is, and I've only lived with 2 women in my life, but I lived with them at an extended period of time. And it started off really well, but as the time went, that's when issues arose and things started to happen and situations dwindled, because once you're living with somebody, that's a totally different situation than when you first meet and there's some time apart. Because when there's some time apart, there's still mystery, there's still a want for each side to want to come together, but you're not constantly together. So when you're constantly with somebody, there is no mystery between the two of y'all. I mean, y'all both can see each other consistently, and you both will get tired of that eventually, unless you have a healthy way of dealing with that scenario. But from my experience, and especially now that I'm living by myself, I would have to say that this is the best time of my life, because there is no stress, there's no anxiety, there's none of that stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? If I want to do what I want to do, I can do that because nobody's feeling no type of way. And if the other person wants to do what they want to do, they can do that because nobody's feeling no type of way on the other end. You know, there's no clashing of energies because you're not constantly together with this person. So it keeps the spark more fresh and sustainable than it would be to live with them and try to hold that spark. You know what I'm saying? So my words of wisdom is to understand what it is for human nature, men and women, and don't be upset by it. For my fellas, stay on your purpose, stay on whatever it is that you're working towards, and don't get distracted by too many things. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with living with somebody, but again, from my own experience and just seeing the complete difference in how life is, you're going to keep her interest more when she doesn't get bored from you being predictable. And in order to keep that, I would say that living with a woman isn't the best bet for you to keep that attraction. You should always keep a place of your own and maintain some sort of thing going on that way, because your time is valuable and you're doing what you need to do within your everyday life and working towards the goals that you want to work towards. So when you come together and you mix those energies, sometimes it'll take you off of what you're trying to do and things go crazy. Whereas if you just keep to your own space, energy, and solitude, and then meet up whenever you can meet up, that's when things remain fresh, fun, and lively, instead of, you know, boring, stagnant, and chaotic. You know what I mean? So that's just some words of wisdom from me. I hope that y'all can use that within your life, and I'ma holla.